Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassa, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Well, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to Real Talk Corner live on this beautiful Tuesday evening. It is the last day in the month of March 2026, and it is really a privilege to be alive and to be here to see all the things that is happening, all that is going on. So I really appreciate life and I appreciate people. You know, yesterday we celebrated Spiritual Shouter Baptist Day, and I was in Moruga, and it was a really nice event. You get some history as to the challenges and the many discomfort that the Spiritual Baptist community would have gone through to be where they are today. And of course, we heard the Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister, extending, to build a secondary school for the Spiritual Baptist community, and that is really something that they had looked forward for. And I am happy. I am seeing so much things happening in the midst of all the challenges that there is, and we need to understand what is really taking place. My co-host is not yet here with me. Well, I just got a signal that she's here. So let me welcome all of you again and welcome my co-host Hadassa Charles McLeod as she welcomed the viewers as well. But it's good to be here. I'm not feeling myself today. I am good. It's just that, sometimes there are challenges, whether it's physical or otherwise. It's one of those days when I don't feel I want to shout. Right? So, how are you, Hadassa? How was your day?
Hi, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening to my lovely co-host Esther. It's good to be on another episode of Real Talk Corner Live. I've had a good day, pretty quiet but productive. We thank God for that. Um, and yeah, I am a little perturbed. I don't know if we are, as a nation, actually experiencing the degree of chaos that is seems to be all around, or if the media is just really good at highlighting it at this time. But yeah, it's good to be on, and it's always good for us to talk these things out so that we could gain a better understanding and a better perspective. And I always look forward to sharing with you guys. Make sure you comment and tell us what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And it's going to be a pretty good hour. And hopefully, by the end of the show, Esther is going to be picked up a little bit. Back to you.
There has been a little challenge with me hearing what you were saying, but I just want to let people know that despite all the challenges that we may be encountering, things is going to work for the better of all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We have a sure that the citizens benefit. I looked at my Prime Minister yesterday and I saw how tired, with all the smile and with all the energy that she's trying to push forward. This woman is tired because there is so much weight on her shoulders to undo what the PNM has done for 10 years. And what gets me upset is that these PNM minions, they come on and they talk about this is not being done, that is not being done, the leaders, as though they were not in power for the last 10 years and they are not the ones who have bring the country to where it is today. And this woman who have toiled and worked hard, even between 2010 and 15, and put certain things in place for citizens, they came and they dismantled everything. They took whatever they had to take. They suffered the people in Trinidad and Tobago. And you know, one of the things that is you know, plaguing right now is the hospital, the nurses. You know, I saw an interview was taking place and people talking about 2 days they're there with their family. Listen, this was going on for the last decade. 3 days I was there with a family member. No bed. They have to lie down on on the ground, sit up on the chair, the what you call it, that they put them from the ambulance. 3 days the stretcher. When I couldn't take it no more, I went to the private hospital. So this is nothing new, and you all should be shameful to say you're blaming the UNC government, because we have now come into power. This is now happening. The nurses and all of them who protesting and talking about they're not coming out to work, as listen, is a handful of them. But the hospital, the medical fertility has been under pressure for years. It's not now. So you all don't make it sound or feel as though this happened from April 2025. No, it has been going on, and I am certain that a lot is taking place to change this environment, to change what has been happening. Last week I spoke about the Couva Children's Hospital and the surgeries that is being done. Listen, the people who are in charge are under pressure because of the PNM. And you know what? They wasn't saying anything. You all wasn't saying anything. You hypocrite. Let me change that. You nurses who are being hypocritical, because you know all along for 9 years or 8 years, how long this has been going on, and you all wasn't saying anything. But now that the UNC government who is here and doing everything in their power to make changes, and in the process of changes, we're going to have some challenges. Because one, the PNM, they utilize the funds. I don't know what they do with it. They were not putting any policies or anything in place. So nurses were doing, those of us who are not fair, who are not having a good consciousness about people, who don't care nothing about the patients who come in there, who was just filling their pockets, all right? They didn't care, and they are the ones who are protesting now. You understand? Who saying they're not going to work, because you know why? We're so lawless. If we can't get the money that we are accustomed getting, if we can't get to steal, and if we can't get to do all the wrong things, we are not happy, and that is a handful of people. It's not only nurses, because I know there are nurses who work their blood into water to make sure that the citizens who come in there for a medical attention, they get it. Trinidad and Tobago, we need to be careful. We need to be careful for what we're asking for, you know, because this government is doing everything in their power through our Prime Minister. You think she wants to see and hear what is going on? No. But the truth is, this is not happening just now. So you all need to stay quiet. You all need to have a little compassion and go out to work, because you're still getting paid. Some of you really don't know what is taking place in society under the previous government and what they have done. I am perturbed to the fact that you all didn't make any noise or song before. It was bad. I have spoken to some nurses. I've spoken to family members who are nurses. This is now happening. It has been happening. And I myself went with a family member to that very same Mount Hope. 3 days. And a doctor would have passed by and probably just tried, because people are just on the corridors. No bed for them to lie down on. Nothing. And if you have the money and you can't afford it, you move them and you go somewhere else. But it is not something that now start to happen. So don't make it look as though it now start to happen. This has been going on. But I am almost certain that things are going to be changing soon. We are approaching 1 year in government, the UNC government. And It's not easy. I feel it for my Prime Minister. She's a woman. She's a senior person as well. And I think she works so very hard. I am praying for her health, for her strength, for everything. Because there's only so much one individual can do. And of course, I am grateful and thankful to her team, her ministers, who are also working hard with her. You have people like Dr. Monilal and Jerlene John, Saddam Hussein, Vandana Mohit, Ravi Ratiram, Barry Padarat, Kadisha Amin, and the list goes on and on. These are the people who you see all the time, and they're working hard. These people are working. I don't know how much sleep they get. Amongst the others, those are the names that come to my mind now because they are in the forefront, right? But we have to be a little patient. I know when the pain take you, when hunger take you, you have no jobs, you cannot take care of your family. We understand all of that. But didn't it happen under the PNM? You all forget. When the PNM came into power in 2015, what was the situation? Was it smooth sailing? A lot of us lose our jobs. We were told to eat dashin and yam. We were told to ban our belly. Our Prime Minister is not saying that. And the thing about it, every sector, every ministry, every agency of the government is under immense pressure because things have been left in a disarray. Ministry of Education, Dr. Dowlat, these people are working time out of time, timelessly. And then the former ministers, they have no shame. They have guts to get up in Parliament and talk about the ills that they created and leave. All of these ministers, getting up, Minister of Finance, I have to talk about Minister Tanku as well. These people have sleepless nights to be able to turn this economy around. The Minister of Finance, former. The Minister of Education, former. Minister of Security, National Security, former. All of them. They destroy this economy. They mash up the ministries. That is what they do. We could not have gotten any good service. The service was for the 1%. They were the only people that was getting service, the hierarchies. Other than that, if a phone was lost, you get it in hours. People losing their life and they can't find the solution. But things are being put in place, but it will never happen overnight. It cannot happen overnight. Our ministers are working. They are working so hard. You know, all we can do as citizens who have consciousness and who understand is to pray for our Prime Minister and our ministers to turn this thing around. You all want to protest? You all should have some shame. And the thing about it, you all know, you know what was happening before, but you all want to pretend that this is something new, that since the UNC come into power, this is what is taking place. Hypocrites. I can't say anything else. You all are big hypocrites. And you all need to think about what you're doing because God doesn't like ugly. The PNM take us down to nothing. There was no good service, no representation. Nothing good was happening more than they were filling their pockets. We got the Ministry of Education in a disarray. Parents, those of you who know, you know, they stopped the project that they were giving out laptops. They never gave out laptops. They stopped that project. What they introduced was parents going back to the stores and buying books and buying uniforms and buying everything else. Under the previous Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisesa, under 2010 to 2015, you didn't have to buy books. There might have been one or two things a parent had to buy. The books were in the school. The laptop was given and it has been resumed. So what this former Minister of Education trying to tell us and tell the parents, were they concerned about children life at risk? You're talking of, listen to me, they didn't care. There was so much number of fighting. Children getting stabbed up. I recall one of my daughters were in a fight because, not that my children fight, no. Some bully were there and they attacked my daughter. So I don't know what it is they come in to talk about. Okay? They need to shut up. They have no shame. And those of you who are agreeing with them, those of you who support the PNM, let me say, you all are human beings too. Some of you are my friends, my colleagues. But I am saying, let's get real. Let's get real. There is no shame in it. PNM didn't do anything good for this country. Nothing whatsoever. Okay? So you all should have some shame and really stay quiet. Okay? Really stay quiet. My co-host, let me give you an opportunity to do your thing. I just went into a fit. Okay?
That's okay. And it didn't sound like a fit to me. Um, I mean, for the most part, I agree with everything that you say, but I want to go back to the beginning. Let me just adjust myself here. Yeah. Um, I really want to say that I would always stand up for and encourage um, workers' rights to protest peacefully and demonstrations, right? But what I am more concerned with is the narrative because, as a friend of mine who is a nurse pointed out to me, that the nurses actually did strike under the PNM back in 2019, but it is always how it is framed for me, how why I just have a problem with it. Because when the nurses or anybody for that matter strikes um, under PNM, it is put as though the workers are just miserable or whatnot. And when people strike under the UNC administration, it is framed as the government is failing the people and the government is doing a bad job. My problem with all of it is the media in all of it. And at this point, it's really just very disgusting um, because we could never hope for fair reporting as to what the issues are and whatnot. And I think sometimes that we forget that um, it is people and it's human beings. I would imagine that the chaos that citizens face when they go to our public hospitals um, is also a result of disorganization behind the scenes, poor management, equipment not working, being understaffed, not being paid properly. Notwithstanding, this racket was just um, revealed to us that some nurses were working overtime to the tune of $80,000 a month. I mean, there are always a few apples that make it bad for everybody, and that is just horrible. And that could probably be one of the reasons why they protested. But these people also work under terrible conditions, which the PNM administration did nothing in that time to alleviate, to improve. Um, our healthcare has always been very nightmarish, to say the least. Um, and apart from And I always say this, apart from the PNM building a bunch of new hospitals, because building stuff is always a way to pad their pockets and to give their friends and financiers contracts and for them to make money. It's a very easy way to steal money. They would build a lot of things. But I've always maintained that it doesn't make sense you build a new hospital if you have not improved the system. And our system, our healthcare system is failing. It's failed in terms of management, it's failed in terms of staffing, it's failed in terms of training and everything. And I could imagine what it is to be working 8 or 12 hours in a shift as a nurse, and you have to be dealing with the public because the system is failing you, so you are failing them. And when you go and you're going to tell them, well, you need an MRI scan, but the MRI machine not working, so you need to go Port of Spain. and all the horrors that happens. So I will say, let the people protest if they want to protest. I think the media is very shameful. I think everybody in the PNM camp is very disgusting, and they need to be more honest about what is actually happening here. So that's what I wanted to say based on that. And I really hope that um, I know the Prime Minister is going to turn her attention onto this, because I also maintain as well that the reason why people protest under this administration is because they have more confidence that their situation is going to be addressed and things are going to be fixed. And Kamala Prasad-Bissessa has said that that is her mantra. The PNM broke it, she said, but she's here to fix it. So I look to see how all these issues are going to be resolved going forward, because this is not just about the nurses, it's about our healthcare in general and what we as the public have to endure when we go to the hospitals. And I'm hoping that we would have a better system, a more seamless system, and something that is not a nightmare. If you happen to have an accident or an emergency and you need to go to the hospital, that you could say, oh my gosh, under the UNC administration, things really got better. And I have full confidence that this is the administration to do it. I wanted to take some time to talk about the holiday that just went past. I want to extend greetings to the Shouter Baptist community. I am always very upset and perturbed when you see media reports or videos of Penelope Beckles and all of them jumping up and clapping with the people. And I'm like, you guys refuse to even acknowledge this sector of the society under the PNM. And it was then Bas Diopande who even made it possible for us to have this holiday, right? And on top of that too, he was the prime minister who gave these people their very first primary school, and that was a landmark thing, right? A lot of people back then had said, oh, he given it to them so that they could support him and whatnot. No, he, as a person who understood who he was as an East Indian in our society, as a Hindu person, understood why it was important that if you worship a certain way, that you should have a school and that you should have holidays that you would be able to celebrate and things like that. He understood that and he gave the people that. And I want to always commend the UNC administration for doing that. And our prime minister has now promised that she is going to give the Shouter Baptist community a secondary school. I believe I have a video. Can I get that, please, Mr. Producer?
So they've been yearning, moaning, groaning, shouting, we want a secondary school. And Cabinet, we agree, ministers, we will give to the Shouter Baptist their secondary school. We will work with them. So in this wonderful time, Minister Michelle Benjamin made a very important point. There was a time when she said about discrimination, and she tried to clear up some misconceptions, that persons of the faith were ashamed to be seen or heard talking in the faith of the spiritual Shouter Baptist. I knew that. I was a little child when my father took me down to Queen Anne Beach with my sisters and brothers, and we were baptized, and we continued to go to church and so on. Down in Pinal, there was a Baptist church there, Reverend Mother. They took us as little children, and they trained us. My father came from Brahmin Hindu Pandit, so that side of the family trained us as well. So I'm half Hindu, half Baptist, but above all, I'm a child of God. I am a child of God. And we respect all faiths, and I'm saying we must provide for the future. On this great day then, Michelle Benjamin, Minister, I agree. Let us make a joyful noise unto the Lord. And let us remember we are all children of God. We are not of a lesser class. Mention, they were ashamed. You could imagine me, this little coolie girl from down wherever. Reverend Mother tied my head. She always talks about it, how she tied our heads and sent us forth to be good people. And so we do our best on this side. We don't make promises or stand up and say things. You've never done a single thing for the children of the faith.
Because, sorry, 48-4.
Yes,
Are you going to allow that word and hands up
you cannot
in this parliament?
I'm sorry?
Mr. Speaker, are you going to allow that word and hands out in this parliament? 48-4.
It's not a question of allowing the word, it's an anecdote being given. It's not a question of it being directed to anyone. I think we need to understand allowing words on Hansard has nothing to do with anecdotal evidence. It has to be if it's directed to members. Continue.
I call myself that because I know some others on that side do the same. I'm not ashamed. You said worse. You have said worse. You have said worse. So, Speaker, let me finish my greetings. I don't want to offend the chair. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but birds, all those words, will never hurt me. Never hurt me. And I close now. I say greetings to the spiritual Shouter Baptists. Greetings to the entire nation, Trinidad and Tobago, on this very important, when we can reach here now, 75 years later, Minister, you said, to reach where we are today, we are on a good footpath, we're in a good walkway, Minister Alexander, we are in a good place. This is Trinidad and Tobago, and we will fix it, and we will make TNT better. Blessings to each of you, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Producer, for that clip. Oh, I didn't realize it was that long, but it was also very interesting, and I think we will get back to that, to the comment, because the PNM always trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. But very importantly, what the Prime Minister said is that I like how she acknowledged that we are all God's children and that everybody is equal, nobody is more important and whatnot. And this is how we, of ensuring that light is shone on the Spiritual Baptist, Church Baptist community, and I really want to applaud her. And I think that this is a landmark thing that has happened here, and I congratulate her. So that's it for me right now. Back to you, Esther.
Indeed. And you know what? I was listening to that before, and I said, under the UNC government, the African community, whether it's be the Baptist, Spiritual Baptist, or anything that has to do with the African community, is always given under the UNC government. The late Basdeo Pandey, he would have introduced and given the holiday for the Spiritual Baptist community. And it is clear that the PNM will always talk about they're doing it to get the votes from the African. No, they're doing it because they understand that we are human beings. We are of organizations just like the Hindus and the Muslims and others. The PNM never see it fit, and they would have never seen it fit to give the Shouter Baptists a holiday, all right? Or to even establish them amongst others, bring them up to par. And even then, you know, yesterday, one of the bishop, when she talked about they had to hide to shout, and they had to hide to pray, and hide to ring the bell, and the police officers, how they used to, you know, probably try to arrest them and all of that. This is the reality and the fact. The PNM never see it fit to give anything when it comes to the African, because we are African, they don't give it to us. And many times the things that we would have gotten through government would have been under the United National Congress. And it's not just about they want our support. Don't the PNM want our support too? But they're so accustomed with giving us nothing, treating us like nobody, and they know they can still get our support, that they do whatever and they don't care. But the UNC would give us what is needed, what we need, what we ask for, what we cry for. And then one or two errors or nothing at all, they would still go back and vote the PNM, because the PNM is the slave master. They treat us like that, and because we are so used to being like slaves, it is easy for us to run back, because we are accustomed, you know, like those women who are abused by the man, and the man come and say, you know, I still love you, and you make me do this, and you make me do that. And they go back wholeheartedly, and then bam, 2 days pass, and they get in blows again. That is like the PNM and the African community. You understand? And the UNC now, they will get a good man, and the man treating them good, right? They come out of that situation. And they wouldn't stay. They can't stay with the man. They're giving the man problem because, watch me, they're not getting abuse. And the abuse is what the African people like under the PNM. But under the UNC, a lot of things that the African community would have received was under the UNC, the United National Congress government, under Pandey, and now under our esteemed Honorable Kamala Prasad Visesa. It happened in 2010 to 15, and it's happening again. And there is more to happen. And the first thing they always try to talk about is they're looking for votes or for support. No, it's not just that. Every one of the PNM wants support too. So what they're trying to say, they don't want support. Every party would need support. They want support. But they do what is necessary for the communities that is in Trinidad and Tobago. When she talk about she being baptized as a little child, and this little coolie girl, they want to make an issue out of it. And according to her, they have said worse. They have called her worse. In their heart, they're a sober coolie. But they want to talk about if that word is permitted. Listen, this PNM cult is a real bunch of hypocrites, you know. They care nothing about the African community, and anything they do for us is never with a good heart. It is mash up in any case, because they don't put the right policies, they don't put the right things in place for the African community. All right? So people need to wake up. African people, you all need to wake up and see that the PNM leadership doesn't care about us. When they give you something, it's not even worth it. Look what they did with the breakfast shed. The story gone by. When they're supposed to get, listen, I don't like to even talk about these things because I get, you know, upset. Under deceased Patrick Manning, they were supposed to get certain things. No, they never give the African what they deserve. They always give you less. They always take away and just give you what they think would make you happy for a while, because you know why? We don't know ourselves. We don't have a certain level of worth in our thoughts about ourselves. And all of us just have to find ourselves struggling and fighting, because even when the UNC would give us things, we always fight one another. Under the Baptist community, they have their different segregation. You think they just have unity all the time? It's always a pulling and tugging. And this is why the PNM themselves, as African-led organization, politics, they don't care nothing about us, the African people. So we need to bring this to rest. The PNM is not for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the masses of the people, even the Indian people, who are not up there. They don't care about us. They don't care about the man on the ground. Let's put it that way. So whether you're of Indian origin, African, or you're Douglas, they don't care about you if you're down there. And even the ones who have some education or some money, they still don't care about you. Because our co-host could testify as to what they would have done to one of our family members. He spent his life supporting them and giving to them, and probably one little situation, somebody didn't like him because they're very vindictive. Something went wrong, and you know what? They caused him to lose his life. They may say they didn't do that, but what they don't understand is when you cause grievances on people's life, when you allow people to spend their money and they cannot get back a return, it causes you to suffer. And when you're suffering, especially when you know where you were, and the people who you give your heart and your all and your money to, didn't even look back to say, here, look a penny. It causes you your life. And I am saying today, those of us who feel that, you know, The PNM is it? The PNM is not it, because they don't care about people. They don't have a heart for the people. And this is why I believe, and I'm not taking it for granted. Why? Because I know how our African people, the masses of us, think. Go and call. You see all the little challenges we have now in this country with all that the UNC is doing, the UNC government is doing for us. Let UNC call an election now, and you would see how much of those ungrateful people will go back and vote for the PNM. For 10 long years, the people suffered in silence, you know. They suffered. You understand? 1 year UNC is in power. And they're doing what PNM didn't want to do, or just they didn't care for a whole decade. This is not magic. This is what you call good leadership under the United National Congress. They are making change not for tomorrow. They are making change that is going to benefit the citizens for more than a decade to come. But we can't see that. We can't see that. It's difficult sometimes to analyze how people really think. Even members of the United National Congress, sometimes I wonder what they're thinking. Your government, your party is in power, and instead of your support and give good, you know, give good solution. Come up with solution. If you think that the right thing is not happening, come up with some solution instead of bad talk. I have never seen a government do what is being done right now in the longest time. That is since 2010 to 2015. We really doesn't have eyes to see and ears to hear. Or we suffer. While we're suffering, you know, we angry and we get vexed. It's like, Hadassa, it is like when a woman goes into labor. When you're going through that pain, you're bawling, oh God, this, that, they're cursing, they're carrying on, not me, I'm not making a next child. And those same women just go back in 2 years or less than that, sometime and make a next child. While they're in pain and they're carrying on, they're vexed, they're angry, if they could kill the man, well, you don't see all kind of crazy talk. And as the pain ends, they forget all about it. That is how most of the people who are supporting the PNM, that's how they operate. When the PNM treating them with the scorn, they're suffering, whatever, they want anti-Kamala, they want the UNC, that, blah, blah. Who in vote and who vote for the UNC? And as two little things happened, they forgot what they went through. They ain't suffering as much as they were suffering under PNM. And some might say it is worse because they can't get a job and whatever. But it goes both sides, you know. But the thing about it now, the transformation that is taking place in the next 2 years, I am almost certain that they will be singing a different song. But right now, everybody kicking stone, everybody pelting bottle because it's not in their favor. Things is not happening. And trust me, I understand. If you don't have a job and you can't pay your bills, it is difficult. But go to your MP's office. Most MP's office, the MPs are there on a Tuesday, and some sort of solution is going to be handed to you. But you can't just stay where you are and complain and quarrel. You want to go back under the PNM? You want to go back under that suffering? You want to go back under that time? You want to turn the clock back? And then what? Listen, what is happening now? Let us appreciate what is taking place now, because change is coming. Criminal activity would be a thing. I can't even say of the past, because you know what we need to do? We need to do a lot of counseling with parents and how they bring up their children, how they train their children. We have to do a lot of counseling with young people because of what they have inherited from their home. What we see in the schools and even in parliament and in the public is what takes place in the home. No proper training, no proper discipline. So everybody just doing what they want, a lawless society. Everybody is doing what they want. And for 10 years, almost 10 years, it was so prominent in people's mind that I said, even myself, you know you're supposed to drive under 100 or 100 km. Sometimes you're going faster and you're saying, oh gosh, I hope no police is there. Why you have to be saying that? You know that this is what is the right thing. Do the right thing, but we'll always never always do the right thing. And I mean, let's be real. We take chances. But when you get caught, stand the consequence. Look what took place, I think was Sunday night, where a young man lost his life because a 22-year-old was driving one of those 4x4, whatever. They're not properly able to handle their vehicle. I think young people, when they get their license, they need to send them to do, what is called it again? Defensive driving. Because a lot of them, they're driving fast. Speed is not it. They're driving these vehicles and they cannot handle it in a situation where there is some sort of thing that they haven't seen. We who are driving for 30 years and more, it happens too. But when you're speeding like that, cross the medium and go and kill somebody. And more than one, some of these young people, they drive so senseless and reckless. They need to do defensive driving, right? The man loses his life simple like that, taking his time going wherever. We have to be a little more careful. We need to think about others. We need to drive. I used to hear my father used to tell me, you have to drive for yourself and drive for others. And drive for others more than yourself. Because a lot of people do crazy stuff on the road. But you know what? It doesn't matter because everybody speeding, going nowhere. Where did he reach? What he did is he caused somebody else to lose their lives. And these are things we need to think about. And one thing I would say, Hadassa, is that under the UNC, it may not be perfect, but I know that they are working towards getting things in a better forum or a better condition for the citizens to live and to be comfortable. Everybody wouldn't be happy, you know, but at least everybody is going to be able to have some sort of achievement, be able to say, well, because of this policy, because the UNC government did X, Y, and Z, I am able to do this. Some people talking about when UNC win, everybody win. That's what we say. Yes, everybody is winning, but you have to know your place and know your situation and what you have to do with the policies that is being put in place so that you can't be, living wild and living without any common sense and think that everything is going to be fine. No. Policies are going to be put in place. Things are going to happen so that you can make some conscious decision that is going to turn around your situation for you and your family. Under the PNM, you wasn't getting that. When they put policies in place or whatever, was always for the hierarchy, not for the people on the ground, not for our little children and our mothers and fathers who are not earning 50,000 a month and 100,000 a month. It wasn't like that. You're earning a little small money and you can't get a loan in the bank. Listen, if we really understand how this life goes, we would start to think different. And I'm saying it's not the first time. Everything that is done good for the development of Trinidad and Tobago has always been under another party, but not the PNM. The PNM only does things that benefit a handful of people. And those handful of people, like the former Prime Minister said, he don't have a problem with the rich getting richer. I rest my case.
Indeed. Well said. I saw a video the other day of a guy who was at a PNM meeting and he wanted to apologize to everybody in the country for voting for UNC. And I was like, but you take 10 years of PNM, right? And it got bad enough for you to vote for UNC, and you're trying to tell me you crumble after a year, that you couldn't hold out for longer. And the thing about it is, for a lot of PNM people, what they are actually experiencing is the rug that has been pulled out from under them. A lot of people who were getting money through illegitimate means and through backdoor channels and through corruption, that is gone now, right? So now they have to make a fuss about it and, Kamala making everybody life hard and whatnot. No, it's not that. You were not earning an honest living, right? And if everybody has to live good, if we have to attack the problem of crime in a real way, we need to take care of all these white collar issues as well. So I just found that was very hilarious. And I thought that it was also funny that um, the PNM is very good at ignoring all the positive things that are happening. For example, BP and Shell are looking to ramp up production for 2027. And even in St. Lucia news, their eyes are on us because they are noticing that there is an increase in flights to Trinidad and Tobago and that we have more visits to the island. I think for the last year, it's increased by 11,000 visitors, with an average of, I think, $569 per person, which is really, really excellent. They're not focusing on these things. And when something pops up that was general, that was basically their doing, they are very quick to say, oh, it wasn't our fault, it's the UNC government, right? But if it's a good thing, they just want to claim it. So, like when ExxonMobil signed for the first time in however long, they would just say, oh, yeah, we had that in the pipelines. Church and say that was his doing. But now the issue of a possible um, exit of the Hilton franchise from Trinidad and Tobago, then Colin Imbert would stand up and say that is, that is UNC. And I want to say, given the devastating economic policies that he implemented during his tenure, resulting in the contraction of our GDP by 30%, when he left office, foreign reserves were at 5 billion USD compared to 12 billion USD that he would have met when they got back into power after UNC lost. He should not be making any comments. He should not be dispensing any advice, And the Hilton did not um, this issue with the Hilton did not happen overnight, right? They specifically said that it was a management issue. It was lack of investment in the upkeep and in the infrastructure. And they have been um, I guess they would have been asking the PNM administration to do their part in terms of keeping up the international standard of the brand, and they did not do that. As far as I can, as I heard, it was in 2023 that the last contract came to an end, and they renewed it for 1 year to 2024. So now they have to have talks to see if they are going to continue to stay. I heard Saddam Hussein said that they entered into discussions and negotiations with them, and we want to see if something positive will happen. I'm hoping that they're going to continue to stay here. But the PNM is very good at spoiling a good thing, and it is not surprising because we see what they do with every building that they build and whatnot. They like to build things, but we have a problem in this country with maintenance. And if Hilton is saying that they did not um, maintain and upkeep the standard, I can see that happening as well. And yeah, they took some fire when Hyatt entered the market as well. And Hyatt is a very pristine brand, and I cannot say that the government did a good job under PNM in terms of making sure that the Hilton was a place that you wanted to go to, right? So, but again, this now falls at the UNC's feet, and while it is disheartening a lot, it's a lot of it just seems like it's so unfair and burdensome. The truth of the matter is that Kamala Prasad Bisesa, she may look small, but she is a person. She's very capable, and she is going to do everything possible to see that this brand doesn't leave, because it's going to be a shame. As far everybody remember Hilton from way back when, and it's going to be a shame that if we were to lose that. So I just wanted to make that abundantly clear. um and I don't know why all of this is coming up now, and I don't know if it is further distraction from the Jamet comment, if it is further distraction from the Balize House scandal. um, and all kind of thing. I see the Express put up a story asking about why the UNC doesn't have their own headquarters. And I was like, Express, how is this news? Right? They're talking about the fact that since the 37 years since the UNC has been, an entity or a political party, they've never really had their own home. They've rented different locations and whatnot. And I was like, but why is this news? Isn't it better that they go from different places and they rent than to have the scandal hanging over their head with Balize House? And I found a video that I thought that was very interesting of former PNM member and former Minister of Finance under Patrick Manning, Karen Nunez Teixeira, talking about how Balize House was funded. Can we get that video, please, Mr. Producer?
But is the PNM involved in using drug money to build Balize House?
I did not say that. What I said, I would never say
No,
that.
I'm asking the question.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if your party historically and traditionally has been seen to get finance, and by the way, didn't pass the campaign financing legislation, which Jamaica has done a long time ago, right? When your party, whether right or wrong, there's this perception that a lot of the financing of the party comes from questionable sources. When you try to tell us that Balize House, the financing for Balize House has been through Tulum, sugar cake, and cars, it's kind of hard to believe that.
Indeed. So she was being very coy and very tactful, but she said what she said. So these are the things that we need to be redirecting the public's attention to whenever the PNM comes with their nonsense and their propaganda to distract from the good work that the UNC administration is doing. We need to remind them of all these issues, of the complete and total disrepute that Keith Rowley left this country under, to the fact where we had to crawl our way back to make sure that we could get a better rating in terms of the crime index, in terms of the corruption index, and all these things. The absolute pits that he left this country in. We need to remind people of the way things used to be, of how the prices of food was continually going up and up and up, and you couldn't see your way. And not for nothing, they would implement policies that would help citizens and ease people's burdens and people's stress. Everything they did made people's lives more difficult, made things harder, with property tax and all these things. People forgetting, people forgetting. And Esther promised that before the year is out, for the 1 year anniversary since the UNC came back into power, we were going to do a rundown of everything that this administration has managed to achieve in 1 year. And we are compiling the list, and we should have that by the time the 1 year mark rolls around. So let us be cognizant of what is taking place, and don't fall traps, because they are very good at setting traps for you to say, yeah, and make you think and wonder and make you forget the absolute horrible and the absolute shit show that life was under PNM. Back to you, Esther. I'm calming down now.
Listen, before I say anything else, I want to shout out those who are watching from Tatolia, British Virgin Island, from Canada, from the US. I want to thank you all for joining in and watching. Listen, I think the leadership of PNM really think that the masses of the people in Trinidad and Tobago, they're stupid. They don't know how to evaluate the nonsense between them and what the UNC is doing. Now, I listened as you were talking about somebody who said they repent for voting for the UNC. It sounded so stupid. I am happy for him or her, whoever that may be, that they repent. It's good to repent. It's very good to repent. But I also was looking at their celebration, and like you said, Penny and they have no shame. They never give the people, going back to Shouter Baptist Day, and never give anything, never wanted to give them anything, but they're going now. It's ironic that they would go and shout, like after they lost the election, and they're going out in front of Parliament and all that to protest right, with the people. All the time they never was protesting when the people was crying and bawling and, oh gosh, we under pressure, like you said. They have no shame.
As
And
a matter
Foster
of fact, they
Cummins,
didn't want you to protest. They made
no,
it
they were
difficult for you to
putting
protest.
things
They used
in
to send
place
police.
to, that's
Yes.
right, right? And Foster Cummins will go up there with his fast self and talk about move Satan, UNC, like Larry pass for PNM to pass. Well, we move for it to pass and go down in the gutter that all it brought Trinidad into. We surely move in for all it to go down into the gutter that you all create in Trinidad and Tobago. We ain't going nowhere. The UNC is here to stay, because we are getting the job done. And for those of you who want to feel sorry and say you're repenting for voting for UNC, that's okay. It's good to repent, but we would never repent, because like Hadassa said, some of you forget the struggles that you all had. We forget the multitude of things that the PNM has put us under and through. But we will not allow you all to forget. We would bring it up over and over, because there were those who were under the PNM bringing up what the UNC did, which wasn't even true. You remember, Hadassa, they keep talking about UNC. That's the only thing they had, UNC is thief. We thief the money. They thief the money. So what PNM did? Tell me what PNM really did. All the budget that they read for the 10 years, tell me what they did with the money. Did any of you really get anything? It's only a few people got. A few people pockets were filled. Who is in control when the PNM is in control? Trinidad citizens need to remember and stop being 9 days old, and that after 9 days, all you forget everything. Come on, all you need to get wiser and stop being the clowns of the PNM, because that's how they see us, like clowns. We nobody to them. All right? We nobody to them. I mean, when I hear Foster Cummins, you going on a pulpit. It's supposed to be spiritual for them. I don't agree with them and the foolishness, but none of the religious nonsense I believe in, because I believe in truth, in the kingdom. But here it is, you going up there to sing, move Satan, move Larry pass. You needed Satan to move out your eyes and your heart and your mind and everything else, but then you'll jump, move UNC. That was so disrespectful. Even for the pulpit that you say you're standing on, and because it's supposed to be sacred to them. And that is what you will go and talk. But I want to tell Foster Cummins, we're moving for you to pass and to throw yourself in the gutter that you all created Trinidad to be. Because that's the only place all you have to go into the sea of forgetfulness where we'll never have to think about you. You're going to bury yourself, no man. UNC do you something? You don't think you get enough? But that is how, they love to put everything as a joke. When it comes to again, spiritual Baptists, African people, for most of them, just a few Indians might be of that religious background. But hear what? They don't care. You're making everything a mockery. The people were suffering and all it was mocking them. It had plenty nonsense that they said, including their leaders. They don't care about the African community. And I will keep saying that. I don't care who vex and who say what. The African community and also the man on the ground. So whether he is Indian, African, whatever, and you can't give them what they want, they don't care about you. And we would keep reminding you, because I have the list of stuff, Tonight I wanted to highlight again the Couvers Children's Hospital, where the interviews were being done. But you know what? We wasn't getting the program to open. But I can tell you, when I went there on that tour, I was like so shocked. The things, the equipment that is there that should have, allowed them to open that hospital to get people to get some medical results, medical care and results. They don't care. Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who have sense, just know that the PNM leadership, I don't, because everybody does say, talking about PNM, but the PNM leadership doesn't care anything about the citizens of this country who are on the ground. The parents who cannot afford to give their children or send their children to a private school or put good lunch in their lunch bag. Once you have to go to the government school and go and receive the breakfast and the lunch that they supply for you, you are nothing in the PNM's book. You are nothing compared to this Prime Minister who is here now. She's concerned about them. That is why she would give laptops, and she would go back to put in what the books, she would put the books online. Before, she provided it at the school, and we just had to sign for it, and when you finish, you give it back. These are the things you all need to remember, okay? And the reason why they took away the laptop, because it was too good for you, for your child. You don't deserve that. They want all you to stay dumb and stay, uneducated. So no laptop for you. When the ones who can buy it, you all pay attention, they could afford it. But the ones who can't afford it, they wasn't going to have it, and the PNM was making no effort to give to you. The books that was in the school that you had to sign for, and when you finish, your child finished, they carry it back. The PNM took away all of that. They send you back to the bookstore, right? Because you can't afford to buy it. So your children will never have a proper education. But our Honorable Prime Minister of today, she brought back the laptop program. So your child could have a laptop. Your child could be able to study like the others. And you know what? Some of them who could afford it, they were making fuss. And some of them, they allowed the children to take the laptop because it's very good laptops. All right? And now, soon and very soon, you wouldn't have to buy books because it's going to be online. PNM want that for you all. They don't want that for our poor children. You know why? If you don't have that, how would you study and be educated and have sense to know that what they're doing is just mama guiding you all? They don't want you all to have anything good. You all need to think. And I thank God for our Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who not thinking about the hierarchy alone, but the man and the woman on the ground. Those who are not properly educated and those who cannot afford to educate their children, at least now they will be able to help their children because they're getting a laptop and they will be getting the books online, so they don't have to spend money that they don't have. What some of us don't understand, there are a lot of people out here who don't have money to even put food on their tables for their children. If it's not for the school feeding program, and it's not for the laptops and whatever, they cannot send their children to school. But the great Miss Kamala Persad-Bissessar, she understands what is poverty. I guess the people who runs the PNM don't know about poverty. They're born with gold spoon and silver spoon in their mouth. So what they know is what they know. But what we know, who live in galvanized shack and live with dirt on the ground and your frico milk and clim milk, tin was your seat to sit on, we understand what is poverty. So we welcome what our Prime Minister is doing for the people on the ground and for those of us who need it. So Trinidad and Tobago citizens, if this is not affecting you, if what I said doesn't sit well with you, you don't need to be listening to us. Then Real Talk Corner is not for you because you're good. You on a scale that you don't need to hear what it is we have to say. Turn off the computer, just scroll. You don't have to stay and listen to me because I make no apology for what I'm saying. It is the truth. There are many people who are suffering, many people who are taking their life, many men are taking their life because they cannot provide for their family. And the PNM cares nothing about it. They are just a bunch of hypocrite playing. They come into you all, they're lifting up all your child, they're dancing, and watch me. This weekend coming, it's Easter weekend. So let me take the opportunity now to wish all of you who celebrate the Easter, the Christian community, happy, holy, Good Friday, glorious Saturday, Easter Sunday, and Monday. But while you're all doing and thinking about Christ, what he did for you, right? I hope all you take it dear to all your heart. Don't go spending all your money. Wash the curtains you have, take them down, clean your windows, and put them back up. Whatever you have, make it do. You don't need to bake cake and cook all this set of food for one day or a couple days. All you need to start getting wise. You all need to start getting wise. Do not hang your hat where your hand can't reach. But I want to wish the Christian community who celebrate the Easter, I want to wish you all God's blessing. I don't celebrate none of them things because, let me don't say the rest. Hadassa.
All right, so we have a couple of things to cover before we go. Just a little bit of good news. I don't believe I have any videos because I just remembered. But one, uh, residents of Laventille West had an issue in their community. And of course, they spoke to the MP, Curry Marcel, and he went and he spoke to Jillian John. And you know what? Jillian John went and she spoke to the people, and she's having that issue resolved. And I was thinking in all my years, I've never seen the inverse where a UNC MP would have reached out to whoever the minister was under PNM and see they go, because I know PNM is very good at abandoning UNC constituents. But I thought I was very good. The residents in the video were making the point, oh, it didn't have no politics here, and we like to see this, we like unity. And I was like, that is a very stupid thing to say because it's politics affecting your life. Because why it is that the former MP, um, Fitzgerald Hines, was not able to address that issue that is plaguing you now, and you had to wait for a UNC minister to come and fix it. So that was one thing. I have an update on the Duncan Street, Nelson Street, HDC buildings update. We saw that we spent some time in it last week, and the engineers and the different people had to fix a sewer problem. And I'm very happy to report that within a week they went and they fixed the issue. And that is now no more. And now the board at HCC is actually looking for money to actually do some more repairs and painting and stuff to the exterior of the buildings. So I'm really happy to report on that. And finally, last week, I believe we saw in horror a woman who was about 76-year old. Her name is Tara Palaya. She was kidnapped from her premises, and within quick time, I think it was 48 hours, she was recovered using the radar. It was also a joint task effort between the TTPS, the TTDF, and and the Coast Guard. And they did a really good job at intercepting the boat and retrieving this woman and getting her back in one piece. And we're so happy to hear this, because I always maintain under PNM, when you see somebody get kidnapped, you just used to be like, oh, that is it for them. But we've had some very successful retrievals of persons since the UNC has come into administration. And no matter what anybody says, even with Gary Griffith trying to bump his gum but saying different things, Roger Alexander is the best Minister of Homeland Security that this country has ever seen. So that is just some good news that I wanted to leave us with, to remind everybody that in the midst of all the chaos and everything that is happening, our government is performing. Back to you, Esther. That's it for me.
Definitely. When UNC win, everybody win. And this is what we are talking about. Whilst we have all the negatives, there's so much positive that is happening under the UNC government. And that interception with that 74-year-old woman, I am certain she is thankful to God and for this government for having things put in place, like you said. In the past, when you hear of kidnapping, you would say, well, that is it. When you do find that person, you find them dead, or you never found them at all. But our Prime Minister is putting the right people in the right place to do what is necessary. And this is why I keep saying, have some confidence in what our Prime Minister is doing together with her team of ministers who are diligently working. And we want to say congratulations to the Honorable Roger Alexander as well, because we know that they are putting things in place, and all the other ministers who are doing what is necessary. Soon and very soon, things is going to happen. And everything, the criminal will change their mindset when they realize that, hey, when they do certain things, they can't get away with it. They're going to stop. They're going to find other ways, and our ministers is going to put policies in place. And I want to see when they find them. Listen to me now, man. The punishment must be heavy on them, as long as there's evidence that they do certain things. This woman is 74 years of age, all right? And those Venezuelans, they didn't do it by themselves. They did it with one of our citizens who is criminally minded just like them, all right? And a lot of the Venezuelans, they have to be sent back to their country, or you go back and stop torturing the citizens of this country. Go back, because there are people that is very heartless. When they set their mind to do something, they don't care what it is. And I'm not going to say all of them are the same. But the ones who are coming here to Trinidad, a lot of them, they are criminal-minded people. They will do whatever it takes for them to get what they want. And they want to come in your own place. They want to rent your place. And they want to take over. They want to tell the landlords and whatever what to do and what not to do. But hear what? We're not going to accept that. Right? We're not going to accept it. So again, I must say, time has gone. Thank you to our Prime Minister. We are praying for you. Real Talk Corner, personals, we love you. All of us, we love you here, and you're doing a good job. And we're not loving you just for doing a good job. Eh? Listen to me now. Hadassa yesterday, when that woman reached the location in Maruga, I never see Stuart Young, or when he was Prime Minister, or the next one before him, Dr. Rowley, when they go anywhere, people rushing to shake their hand, people rushing. Listen to me now. If the security details don't protect our Prime Minister, they will trample on her, wanting to just to see her, just to take a pic with her, just to shake her hand, you know. This woman is loved by the people. I must say, some of the people who are saying all the negatives is few and in between. The masses of the people love our Prime Minister. They're seeing what she's doing with her team, and they just want to, you know, it's like you want to be in her presence. They just want to be close to her. By God, I tell you. So we are praying for her, and we know that great things is going to happen in this country. This country is going to come up to where it ought to be, and to really be able to call it a paradise, because all of this talk about paradise, this country never have seen paradise like it will see soon to come. Okay, so we love you all. I think we have come to the end of our program. Don't forget to join me on Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. where I speak the truth according to the scriptures. And have a wonderful week, a wonderful weekend. It's a long weekend. We have holiday Friday and Monday. So you all be safe. Enjoy yourself. Bless the Lord for your life. Take care of yourself. We love you all. Goodbye.